the stories, the journey, the wild behind the scenes, and much more. I'm Dave Anthony, and I'm the host of From Garage to Stadiums. Let's get to Bob Marley's personality at this point, because I think there's elements of his personal life that are misunderstood, overlooked. How does it contribute to sort of our knowledge of the man? Tell us about Bob the man here. What's he like, his personality?
Bob was very driven, very disciplined. He had a ferocious work ethic. He was renowned for insisting upon rigorous rehearsals. And so, yes, perfectionist, I would say so. I think what he was driven by was this need to communicate issues he thought were extremely important, Rastafari being one of them. He was driven, as were the band members, of spreading the gospel of Rastafari as far and as wide as possible, and also the reggae genre, because he knew that if he could popularize the reggae genre, then the whole economy of Jamaica and the people in Jamaica would lift as a result of that. Mm-hmm. And I think that was very, very important to him. The rising of his people, the well-being of his people, was very important.
It's interesting you say that, because, you know, when you compare him to Bob Dylan, or at least to Dylan having influence on anybody, including Marley, Dylan had his early protest sort of period where he wrote a lot about, you know, the society of the early 60s in the US and the injustices, etc. But then sort of Bob evolved into this sort of, these lyrics that were almost, they were fantastical, and but Bob Marley kept going with the political activism in his songs. It's an incredible legacy that he just kept pushing that agenda. And you said trying to uplift his people. I mean, that's something really special.
Absolutely. And I think that was absolutely core to his mission as a musician.
In 1976, John, we start moving to some impacts, or sort of implications, let's call them, of Bob's increasing political visibility as a symbol of to his citizens, and something violent occurs.
1976 was the year that Prime Minister Michael Manley declared a national state of emergency, an indefinite state of emergency in Jamaica. Things had got that bad. Marley was writing songs like Who the Cat Fit, Crazy Bald Head, Johnny Was, about a mother mourning her son who died through gun violence. It's serious.
Songs like War, Rat Race.
Absolutely. The Rastaman Vibration album. And so he was putting it all out there in 1976, and Jamaican society was in turmoil, essentially. The middle classes were fleeing. They were leaving the island in droves. There were rumors that Manley was turning Jamaica into a communist country, fueled, no doubt, by the CIA and American business interests and the rival party, the JLP. And then towards the end of the year, Marley wanted to give a free concert in Kingston called Smile Jamaica. He wanted to put a smile on people's faces. He wanted to lift people's spirits. And he did a song called Smile Jamaica, which was pretty lightweight, but pretty, likable. And I'm sure he had all the right intentions, except that in order to stage a free concert in the National Heroes Park in Jamaica, you need permission of the government, of course. And the government, the Prime Minister's officers, designed and printed the posters with the Prime Minister's office printed clearly on the posters. And this look as if Bob Marley was endorsing the PMP. And, this was very dangerous in such a volatile atmosphere. This was very dangerous. He was warned not to do the show. Bob Marley said, tell these people making these threats that I turn the other cheek. I mean, he just was going ahead with this, even though he was aware of the confusion that this was causing. And as soon as the date of the show, December the 5th, 1976, was announced, Michael Manley declared that the election would take place, just a week or so afterwards. So it really did look like this concert was a pre-election boost for Manley.
Yeah, almost a campaign stop or a campaign element, at least.
Absolutely. And so 2 days before the show was due to take place, gunmen went into 56 Hope Road, Marley's...
Which is Bob's home.
That's right. And the Wailers were rehearsing in a back room, and the gunmen poked their guns through the door and just fired indiscriminately. Thankfully, rather than take aim, they were clearly nervous, and they just fired indiscriminately, and they wounded Bob, Rita, and the manager, Don Taylor, and another person who worked on the premises. But fortunately, no one was killed. But eyewitnesses have told me that Bob Marley was really shaken up by this. He genuinely believed that the people of Jamaica, who he loved so much, he couldn't believe that they would turn against him.
And he ended up, obviously he survives. He was shot, I think, in the arm, but he plays the concert anyways. Following the assassination attempt, Marley leaves Jamaica. He goes to London. Why does he go there? What was the reasoning? Safety?
Safety, yes, probably. It was also where Island Records were based, and they had a new studio. And it was also that his girlfriend, Cindy Breakspear, had recently been crowned Miss World. And
she was from Jamaica. She was from Jamaica, is that correct?
Yeah. That's right. She was a tenant at 56 Hope Road. And they were together when she was crowned Miss World. And after the shooting, they went to Nassau for a couple of weeks with some of the musicians. And then she went off to do her promotion as Miss World, and he went to London and started work on the Exodus and Kaya albums. The sound that was created on the Exodus album is more international than you can hear on any previous Bob Marley release. So this was a real step up for him. And then he was writing, inspired by Cindy Breakspear, he was writing some absolutely beautiful love songs, such as Waiting in Vain. And then something like Three Little Birds, which was just had hit written all over it, as well as crowd pleasers like Exodus and Jamming. I mean, Exodus really had everything on that album. The future looked bright, and he went into Europe to do some European dates. The first date was in Paris. He played football during a break, as he normally
Mm-hmm.
did, and injured his toe playing football. He'd gone to a doctor about his toe injury and been diagnosed with melanoma cancer. He was told to choose between toe or toe, and basically he had to take time off.
Unfortunately, it just escalated and got worse,
Mm.
which we'll get to in a minute. But there's a seminal point. I mean, he puts out another album, Kaya, March 78, with Is This Love? And Exodus is a great transition, opens with a warning. Quote, many more will have to suffer. Many more will have to die. Don't ask me why. Things are not the way they used to be, is
Mm.
Marley's quote there.
Mm.
Again, the violence is still happening. The paramilitary groups affiliated with these two parties are still killing each other. Like, it's still bad times, obviously. Which leads us up to really him wanting to return. But there's the return to Jamaica, a hero once again. And there's an extraordinary return of Marley. He returns for the another political concert, the One Love Peace concert. And I guess, again, in an effort to sort of calm these warring factions, do you want to tell us about the extraordinary thing that he has happen at that concert relative to peacemaking?
He would headline a One Love Peace concert to actually celebrate and solidify the peace. But the moment when he invited the two political heads onto the stage with him, the prime minister and the leader of the opposition, and he joined their hands above his head and looked forward and chanted, Jah Rastafari. I mean, that was probably the most iconic moment in reggae history and of Marley's entire career. And that is what we all remember from that concert. That became immortal.